Well, there was some news late last night, or I should say late in the evening, that, yesterday's headline, whatever. But the real headline, Paul Thurrott,
Okay.
is look at the grass.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
Look at all these.
All right. That's funny. That looks great, by the way. Is this is this like Yankee Stadium or something?
Yeah. They looked real good last night once you hit about dusk. That's the result of that. It wasn't a complete resod or reseed. It was an overseeding, but I got a lot of thin areas, and so now it's all growing back in.
Oh, it's got that nice, cross effect from the mower.
Doing lines at a diagonal. You got to keep.
I used to do this. I get it.
Yeah, that's all I got in my life. Anyways, the real late breaking news, which yesterday's FRD headline was Qualcomm strikes back. Today's headline is ARM strikes back, because ARM is, and I think this is more theater than most things right now. But we'll get to
here. But so it's funny.
Hold on. Let me read the headline first.
Okay.
So ARM has announced that they've given Qualcomm 60 days notice that they are canceling their license, which is a massive deal.
ARM license,
the ARM license, because obviously Qualcomm's everything they do now is built off of these licenses, and suddenly ARM is like, all right, well, we can play hardball too.
Yeah. I was just discussing this with my wife. I try not to involve her in our horrible little world. Mm-hmm. But this one, it's interesting. There's a whole thing around this, but the big issue to me is that this has been going on for years,
for a while.
Since Qualcomm purchased Nuvia, which is the originator of the chipset they have in the PCs now in their new smartphone.
Which maybe I'm completely wrong in this, but it feels a lot like what Intel did, right? When they basically bought their future. The whole x64 stuff. Remember, they bought that Israel company and then integrated it, and that basically became...
So AMD had come out with what they called AMD 64 extensions to x86. Intel had that company in Israel, and I should remember the name of it, but they came out with
either. But
but what became the core chipsets, right? Which were still pretty much on that era of chips, whatever. Which, by the way, kind of forget, there was an early MacBook, not MacBook Pro, but at the time, remember they had the white and black MacBooks that was running a Core Solo. Remember, it was like Core Solo, Core Duo, and then I guess they went quad core after that, and it became just Core. But now, am I doing that right? I don't remember anyway.
History.
I know it's lost to the. But anyway, Core Solo was the first one. It's kind of funny. So, I don't think any of us really know the answer to this debate, which is ARM correct in this, that NVIDIA or Qualcomm should be paying for 2 of these licenses because of Nuvia, or is Qualcomm correct that we have a license, we own this company, this is ours now, so it's just not, this is at the end of the day is just a legal thing. It has nothing to do with technology. It's literally the terms of some licensing agreement. So, but yes, it could literally disrupt the entire Android ecosystem in the supply chain, and it's unbelievable they haven't resolved this. Again, nothing. It has nothing to do with technology. It's amazing to me anyone has an opinion about the actual terms of this agreement or whatever, but they do, and I don't know. I think it was smart of them. I just wrote this to Laura, and he had written this up this morning, and I said, very smart of ARM to launch this lawsuit this week during Qualcomm's big event week, right? Because they're right. I mean, no, good for them. That's smart. Yesterday, it feels like a million years ago. No, 2 days ago, Qualcomm came out against Intel, like you said. And I thought that was smart too, because it's correct. It's not that every company doesn't cherry pick the data they choose to show when they're trying to show their advantage. That's what happens, right? But Intel, I mean, they made these really bold claims, and I honestly, personally, was kind of, I felt good for them. They needed this win in this terrible year, and I just like that fact that a lot of it was just smoke and mirrors, marketing stuff. It's a little early. I have to kind of check myself here a little bit, but I'm reviewing the first and only of these laptops I've used so far, right, based on Lunar Lake, and I'm definitely having some issues here. So, the AMD stuff is great. The Qualcomm, I'm using if I could just use one computer, it would be the Surface laptop. I love it so much. Is where it's awesome. It's awesome every day. It's awesome. And I think that's, in the end, that's what we need. So I don't know what to tell you about ARM. I don't know. I'm very curious about this.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think ARM's maneuver here is also, I think, them trying to ratchet up, like, this can't drag on forever sort of thing. But also,
it has,
in 61 days from now, Qualcomm is not going to stop building this stuff. They're not.
Right. That's another lawsuit, and it kind of goes on and on.
And so what's going to happen will be, I think ARM thinks they are correct, and that Qualcomm's refusing to pay. So they cancel their license, and what's going to happen, if ARM is correct, they'll be like, hey, and now you owe us additional damages because we had to do this maneuver. We canceled your license. You made these illegally. You owe us more money now.
That's right. Look, the relative sizes of these companies is dramatic, dramatically different, right? ARM has yet to make $1 billion in a quarter. They'll probably do it this quarter, I guess, or something, now that we know what their earnings are. But, Qualcomm is not an order magnitude, but they're several times bigger.
Yep.
So they can afford this, right? It's just they don't want to, which I get. Of course you try, and I do think there's going to be a payment, however this ends, whether it's a settlement or I guess I suppose Qualcomm could win in court, I suppose, if they actually go to court. So I don't know. It's bizarre.
This is a legal battle of the decade.
It is, yeah. And again, like, it's really not about technology. It's just it's just this legal things. But there's a single source of failure here that I think exists all over technology. You are licensing ARM these designs, and then they modify them and do their own things, of course. But my God, like your entire company is based on this one thing. It's a little, I'm trying to think if there's when Windows was everything and that was all it was Microsoft, and they were, starting to do Office and everything. Like, was there what was the single point of failure there? Was there something similar? I can't think of one. It might, right?
Not externally, I don't think.
Yeah. I'm not saying, I think this kind of problem exists all over the industry, but maybe it's also not, it's maybe not the norm, I guess. I don't know. I'm trying to say, you can tell, I'm sorry. I shouldn't even be talking about this because I'm still wrestling with trying to understand how this even happened.
Lawyers are going to get I don't know. It's, the courts will ultimately decide, I guess, who's right or wrong in the legal judgment.
Yeah,
right?
And I think that's the lawsuit is intended to trigger this process, right? In other words, now we have to get it in front of, something has to happen now. So, look, they're obviously, these two companies talk. Qualcomm is ARM's biggest customer, biggest partner, however you want to say it, and they must talk all the time, and they've not been able to resolve this. It's weird. I don't know. Huawei, remember those guys, right?
Yeah.
Just announced that yesterday, today, whatever, with the time change, that their first public release of Harmony OS with no Android anything in it is available, and they're moving all their devices to it. The things that used to be Android phones are now Harmony OS phones, and they'll be doing that to PCs. They're going to get rid of Windows at some point, supposedly. And is there a future like this for Qualcomm? Where do you go? You can't, the whole world has gone ARM. It is ARM. It just is, right? Where do you, I don't know. What was that company? A company, SoftBank, owned ARM. They tried to sell it, right? And I think NVIDIA actually agreed to buy it, right?
Yeah, and they got shut down.
And they got, So it's still this tiny little company from England that somehow, again, they don't make most of the money, but they are the central design of the entire industry now.
Which we probably both know is probably two people over there are just
I know,
right,
with a drafting table. Yeah.
Right. And like the whole company revolves around like Pat and Steve sitting in the back room who come up with these designs, and then they're just brilliant.
Dude, what people talk about margins, right? In the hardware business, Apple has unbelievably high margins for a hardware company. You know what? ARM's margins are somewhere in the 97 and 99% range.
Yeah, because they don't make anything.
Right. They just
they have a drafting board.
Right. A minimal number of employees. They don't have any real overhead. God, it's incredible.
But they make some really good designed products.
Yeah.
And they just, I mean, it's a cash cow. I'm sure. I don't know what else they're funding with all that money. But
I mean, relatively speaking. But like I said, compared to Qualcomm, there's this worldwide conglomerate and fingers and everything and whatever, and they have their own licensing as well, right? I'm not looking at their numbers. There is no doubt that every single quarter, Qualcomm makes more from licensing their technology than ARM does. Like it's, you know what I mean? There's no doubt.
Yeah, the modems and whatever else, and
whatever it is, it's just licensing, and of course, most of their money. I don't remember the numbers, like I said, but 60, 70, whatever percent it comes from other thing, from the chips they sell and so forth. But but they still make a big chunk of money from licensing. Can I license something? What can I license? I need a passive source of income. Is that a thing?
I mean, you're passive aggressive, so there's
I'm passive aggressive. I already have that. That is my source of income, passive aggressive. Oh boy.
Speaking of other passive aggressive things that were announced, Xbox has a quote unquote new headset that looks a lot like the old headset, but it is new. But it's
Did the old one support Dolby Atmos, or is that new?
I think it did.
I think it did. Okay.
It definitely didn't support Bluetooth 5.3. It didn't have the bigger battery.
Okay. What does 5.3 give you? Is it just more efficient?
More Bluetooth. Blue teeth.
A little more blue. A little bluer.
I don't know.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, $109, which I think is $10 more than the last one, but it also comes with that Dolby Atmos whatever thing built in now. So which was $10.
I mean, what's a wired headset? I know everything's more expensive now, but the wired headset I feel like was $59 forever.
Something like that. Yeah,
it's a lot of money for a watch. Jeez, but
I don't know. I'm
but
curious.
At least you have to charge it all the time.
What these things actually sound like, because I didn't think the last one sounded particularly good. So,
I mean, I get the brand thing, but if you care at all about how anything sounds, you don't buy like a first party headset, obviously. But
maybe I don't know.
Buying something specifically for gaming, I suppose if you do it enough, maybe it makes sense. But I would buy something you could wear on a plane too. That just sounded great. Work with anything.
Well, I've got like 7,000 different pairs of headphones, so it doesn't. My opinion.
Yeah, I have so many earbuds now. I could fill like a child's play area at a Chuck E. Cheese with them, and they could use it as a ball pit.
Yep. I mean, I have a dedicated headset for the Xbox. So.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Is it wired though?
No.
No. Oh, so what do you have?
Oh, they're old. It's called the RIG or RIG 800 XL by Plantronics. They're really good. I really like them. I would keep them forever.
No, but there you go. Like Plantronics. That's a great brand for headsets.
Except they charge via USB micro, which makes me want to kill myself every time I have to plug that thing in.
The lightning of the other side. I like that you're drowning in obsolete connectivity solutions.
Yeah. So if they have that same, I don't even know. Do they? Let me see. Do they still sell these things? RIG 800 XL.
I bet they sell
a newer LX. Version. It is LX.
LX. Okay.
So they do have the HX at Best Buy. Oh boy, did I just spend $150 without knowing it?
I have actively worked not to spend $65 on a replacement Apple TV remote.
Oh yeah.
Just so I could get the USB-C port. It's a struggle.
So this one has, they look exactly the same, but you drop these into like a cradle to charge, but that's.
Okay.
Come on.
Do not do this.
What?
You're making a mistake.
I'm not buying it right now, but I mean, the problem is knowing that it exists. Headset charging stand. Oh, good. It says Xbox One on the box. That's a good sign.
Well, I don't know. Yeah. It's the same thing, isn't it?
Hold on. This is trending in the wrong direction. This is on eBay. It's the same thing for $298. No.
You should get that one. It's been worn in.
It's been battle tested.
It's like getting, buying pre-torn jeans. It's nice.
Well, I can just go back to looking at my grass, I guess.